Happy day to all of you who are watching us from various parts of the world. Welcome you all to another episode of Revolving Perspectives, powered by positivity and sponsored by continued efforts to bring in enlightenment. In the series of interviews in the past at Revolving Perspectives, we have talked about sustainable lifestyle. We have run a campaign at LinkedIn and written many articles to spread awareness about sustainable lifestyle measures, which we all can easily inculcate in our day to day life. Today, we have a privilege of hearing this from Mr. Vinod Bodhankar. His insight, experiences, and lessons learned throughout the journey in plastic waste management and ocean management. He is not only talking about it, rather, has taken a remarkable initiative and chosen plastic waste management to work on, which is essential to save our planet. So, without further delay, I would welcome Mr. Vinod Bodhankar.
So, hello everybody, and this greeting is on behalf of 2.5 lakh, that is 250,000 volunteers in our Sagarmitra movement.
Welcome, Vinodji. As an active advocate for environmental conservation, Vinodji has dedicated his time, effort to collect and manage plastic waste effectively. He has implemented innovative strategies to collect, sort, and recycle plastic waste in the community. The initiatives have not only contributed to reducing plastic pollution from ocean, but have also raised awareness among individuals and communities about the importance of responsible waste management. He is a co-founder and co-director at Sagarmitra Abhiyan, which works on waste plastic management at school, housing society, village, and city levels. He is also convener at Indian Peninsular River Basin Council, Jal Biradari, which is a networking team from 11 states and 3 union territories. Also, Vinodji is a founder and director at Vishwa Sanskruti Ashram for ethical leadership training. Few accolades which I will share about him. He was awarded at Jal Rishi Samman in 2017 at National Convention of Drought and Floods, Bijapur, by Dr. Rajendra and CM of Karnataka. What more to say about him? Recently, in 2022, Vinodji was appointed as advisor of ocean and coastal ecology conservation by the People's World Commission on Drought and Flood, Sweden. Thank you, Vinodji, for being here with us today. We are honored to speak with someone who has dedicated their time and efforts to tackle the challenge of plastic waste management. Your work is inspiring, and we are eager to hear your perspective at Revolving Perspectives.
Just to start, in the last week, we have added 750 volunteers. That's the speed at which this goes.
Oh, that's wonderful. So, Vinodji, my first question with you would be, oceans get contaminated by various other ways like oil, polluted water, and also there is an impact of global warming. So, how did you become interested in plastic waste management specifically? And what was the initial thought, the seed that gave birth to work for such a noble cause?
My first mentor in learning about rivers and oceans, Dr. Vishwas Yevle. You can see the life jacket behind. The first one I wore was in 2003 when I accompanied him on a 450-kilometer journey of kayaking. And within a series of journeys over a decade, we saw the plastic and waste floating on the river all the way from Pune to downstream, and it left Maharashtra and went into the other state. So we realized that we have to think about the downstream up to the ocean. So I witnessed it happening on the river.
Okay. So after seeing that, you realize that it need to be worked upon.
Yes, and just one more part I will add. Then I met my second mentor, Mr. Anil Gaikwad, because I came back to Pune after 7 years of doing this. I started searching in Pune, is anybody cleaning the rivers? Because,
Right.
just going on a journey is not enough. I found a movement on the Ram Nadi where every week they would go and dedicate 2 hours every week for the rest of their lives. I found dedicated people who started picking plastic on the banks of the river. And
Yes.
to my surprise, after 2 years of doing that, I found that working on the river and about 14 of the nalas, that is the streams, urban
Hmm.
streams, we found that this dirty plastic is being taken by the government. And at that time, it was being dumped in a landfill. So it was like shifting the pollution from the river to a landfill. And
Yes.
therefore, we came across this, how can we work above the pipeline, making sure that people don't throw this at all. And that
Oh,
is where Sagarmitra started.
wonderful. So my second question would be, what are the methods and techniques do you use to collect the plastic waste from various areas of the city?
Yeah, primarily, it's a mind shift change. We don't look at this as a garbage issue. We look at this as an issue of creating a global team within about 20 years. See, this perspective is very important. So if we
Yeah.
want to catch 8 billion people, 1.5 billion are students. And about
Yes.
1 billion are high school students who sit for 10 years in a classroom and learn something new every day. So if you
Yes.
want a part of the human consciousness of 8 billion minds, very fast within 20 years, we'll have to catch the high school students. So for us, it is a high school student speaking program. So how to bring all the children from all the cultures, countries, nations, and religions together. So we thought there is one pollutant which is at home, and the child identifies with this. When they eat something, they throw the plastic. So the easiest anti-pollution action to be taught to the entire planet would be focusing on the high school children, which is more than a billion people. And every 5 years, the high school children go ahead and new 1 billion people come in. So if we want a miraculous
Right.
change on the planet, we'll have to expand the consciousness of mankind through approaching the high school children, not about river, not about Gully to Delhi or Gully to Washington, just one country, but the largest thing that they know, which is the ocean. So we
Yeah.
decided to bring their attention to the ocean, to
Right.
the piece of plastic that they throw. All we have to do is show them how the plastic goes from the river to the ocean so that they feel responsible and then start collecting plastic. So the methodology involves understanding that we have undertaken a global change, and hence the word has to be global at the top. Sagarmitra, friends
Right.
of the oceans. It's not friend of this river or friend of that river.
Yeah.
So this is part of the mindset which has to change. The actual methodology is very simple. We say to the children that the boy is a prince, the girl is a princess, Rajkumar, Rajkumari, and they are not allowed to pick from outside the house. It's not safe for them. Simple. These are kids. And
Yeah.
we also don't look at them as labor who will, solve the plastic crisis completely. So we just ask them to take any plastic carry bag at home and collect the dry plastic at home from inside their own walls. That is the key to this entire program. They take a carry bag. We don't supply them with any logo or anything because that would add to the garbage. But they take any carry bag from home and keep on putting dry plastic for 1 month inside that bag. They take care not to put wet plastic. In my 195 countries, there is a habit of placing newspapers in one corner, and the newspapers are handed over for recycling every month almost. So that in India, it is called as newspaper raddi. So we just piggyback on this, the achievable task of picking up 20, 30 pieces of plastic in a bag at home and
Yes.
bringing that once in a month to school.
Right.
So I'll conclude with this, that the individual knows his or her responsibility. And we
Absolutely.
know that it's just logistics now, because now we are with 250,000 students and we have 12 years experience. Just a matter of logistics to take this to every student on the planet. Okay. And what we have an advantage here is this is called embedded systems management. We don't have to fund the volunteers. We don't
Right.
have to fund the transport of the plastic from home to school. The child is going to school anyway.
Yeah.
We don't have to fund or manage the supervision of the children. The teachers are doing it anyway. So we don't have to create a collection place. The school is already existing. So we are just utilizing what already exists. So though we are in 3 countries now, experimentally in 2 more countries, we have a staff of only 2 who gets actually paid.
Oh,
Yeah. So volunteers are 250,000. So
Wow.
when we reach every country on the planet, I am sure we won't have a paid staff of more than 40 people. So it will become a management example also. This is
Yes.
embedded systems management.
Right.
So the child just collects this for a month, brings it to school. When they are in school, they see that the individual responsibility that they were assuming, they see the collective, the collection of plastics coming in. Every week now we are collecting 2.5 tons in my city, Pune. And all the plastic is very clean, absolutely clean. It is coming from the upper part of the pipeline, not below the pipeline. If this was thrown outside, it would be dirty. It might have, water on it, and it might have all kinds of green stuff growing on it. So our method eliminates the contact of the plastic with any dust or water or any other pollutant. So clean plastic gets collected, transported to the school. The school collects it only for about 2 hours. So in the whole month, the school has to even only give 2 hours.
2 hours.
Then the children will bring it. Once they're inside the gate, they pile it up where the school has told them. Our vehicle goes and we weigh that plastic and we buy it. So we are now a part of the circular economy. We buy it because our associates who are plastic recyclers buy it. So the children also know that if we buy this, we are not going to, throw it. And we are not going to mix it with any other wet waste.
Yeah.
So the method is very simple. Collect plastic at home the way we collect newspaper at home. The cardinal principle here is the children will not collect a single piece from outside the house.
Okay.
Let me place this in the proper context, what we say to the children also. We say if oral hygiene were the global aim, we ask them how many members in the team. So they're a little confused. Actually, we need 8 billion members to brush their teeth. If we want oral hygiene, we need 8 billion members to brush their teeth.
Yeah.
If we don't put a single piece of plastic in the oceans and rivers and in the ground and the forest, we need 8 billion people team. So we don't dilly-dally around with, a national team or a gully to Delhi or no, we need all the budgets. We need every thinking mind. We need the whole planet. And we say to the children, it's only one planet. We are not asking you to change the solar system, right? We can manage it.
So that is beautifully done, Vinodji. I think you have connected the future generation of our country to a larger ocean. And also, you have simplified this method in such a way that those kids and people are becoming self-dependent and they are self-responsible for collecting the whole plastic. You have not created any system where you have to work for it and then they will take an initiative. They are becoming self-responsible for this noble cause, and the seed has been inculcated in their mind, in their brain since childhood. That's a beautiful thing which you are being doing and you're able to do in your city, everywhere in your area where schools are getting kids to collect the plastic. And I love the concept that they are not allowed to pick up a single plastic from outside the house. Yes. So self-responsibility is something which has been taught to them to save this planet. That is an amazing concept. So I would also like to know the biggest challenge you faced in collecting that in this journey and then setting up this system looks so simple, but I'm 100% sure that there would have been challenges to set up the earlier system, the earlier stages. So can you share some success stories or milestones you have achieved?
Two challenges and then some success story. The
Okay.
first challenge is getting people to understand that there is no human being or any Vinod Bodhankar who started this.
Yes.
Actually, the origin of all massive movements is in the situation itself. If there is a fire, people come with the buckets. So the children are leading this because that is their mass response to the global crisis. So this is one part. So this whole initiative is done by a team. So people don't understand that.
Right.
That does come in the way of widening the scope. Okay. The second part, which is the most important, is the teachers or the principals, or now we go to villages, the village chief, or if we go to a government department, the government department chief, they don't understand that they have to do it first. So making people understand the difference between, I'll use Hindi words and then translate, the difference between Jana Jagriti and Shrama Jagriti. Jana Jagriti has failed over the last 40 years, according to me, because people keep telling what to do. and they expect people to do it. Now, when I say to the child, collect plastic, I have to carry this with me and show that I have collected in the last 7 days. So if I am, let us say, a minister of environment, I have to carry this every day with me, keep it on my table. Every person who meets me for any work, you have to show, look, I'm collecting myself. Why don't you collect? So when a sarpanch does it, we have the experience in villages. When the sarpanch does it, someone comes for a water connection and he says, all right, from your house, are you sending plastic? We have a collection center here. So every transaction has the mention of plastic because it's going to take us massive amount of funds and awakening of every single human being. So no opportunity, every conversation should have this. And it should have it with this in hand. It should be on my table constantly, anybody. Like suppose a large television channel calls us, we'll say whoever is going to interview me should show their plastic. Because otherwise, there is a thought in human beings that if I tell about it, people will do.
Yeah.
If I tell about, no, you have to do it, only then people do it. So
Yes.
it takes some time to talk to people who are at the top and say, okay, you bring first, then we'll talk to the children. Okay. I was in a village yesterday and we met the sarpanch, no, not the children. So we met the sarpanch and said, are you ready to do this yourself? Then we are ready to come with you to the school. So he had to commit before the school that he's definitely going to do that himself first.
Right.
Once we were very sure that he's going to do it, only then we go to the students. So the difficulty is in people who are at high places think that this is a job for others, for juniors. They feel that they are very busy and they don't have the time to do this. It's like saying, I don't have time to brush my teeth. So the largest challenge to us is those who listen to us come into only awareness. They don't start immediately doing it themselves. Right. Especially if they are at high positions of power and administration.
Yes.
Yeah. They think it is a job for some hired person.
Absolutely.
Their own plastic from their own home. They have to collect. Yeah. It's difficult to get that across.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
I understand. I can understand that very well. So what do you think, all the efforts which you have taken till now, what impact do you believe that your plastic waste collection efforts have had on environment and the local community until now?
The first is when you are going after a mass communications project and a mass action project, you have to make sure it is self-sufficient once it is taught to people in another city, and the replicability has to be established. Basic achievement of any model is the replicability. So our first city which has replicated is Jalgaon over the last 6 years. For 2 years, I went there and then I said to the people there, we won't fund this. We are not going to be in contact with you for 3 years. You can float on your own now. So I went for 2 years and then the people there, managed to get in. They managed to get in 20 schools. 3 years I did not go. After 3 years when I went there, they had 70 schools and they had recruited the commissioner of the city. So currently, the Jalgaon model is an improvement on the Pune model. And the surprise is that they have created a replication in Shirpur. And that model is an improvement on the Jalgaon model. So when the model is so clear in terms of principles that you have to do it.
Yeah.
So the commissioner of Jalgaon herself brings plastic to one or the other school every month, along with her 11-year-old daughter and 7-year-old son. And she is absolutely determined. About 4 days back, she had a meeting with the deputy commissioners and assistant commissioners, and she insisted they have to bring it. So you see, it has to start from the top to down.
Of course.
I won't speak of the Bhagavad Gita only as the only representative of spiritual thought, but because we are in India here, perhaps the initial people who will hear this will be from India, from my India, as a part, which is a part of my planet. So the Bhagavad Gita also says that those who are visible to everybody have to make sure that the smallest tasks which the people on the ground should do, they have to do them. They have to do them. It is a Gandhian principle also. Be the change you want to see.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's no point saying to people, let's deal with plastic when I'm not dealing with 20 pieces in my own house. Be the change you want to see.
Absolutely. And you are doing that. Be the change people. Yeah.
There is one more success story. A boy, there are many such boys and girls, but one will illustrate. This boy in 8th standard started collecting plastic in a bag. 8th standard. people at home, elders said, how are you going to clean the ocean by doing this? So
Oh.
he didn't bother about it. When he was in 11th and 12th and he had that gearless two-wheeler, he took
Hmm.
our posters and went school to school. He
Hmm.
recruited 9,000 students when he was studying. He was in
Okay.
11th and 12th when he fetched 9,000 students into this movement. That is 18,000 hands. So
Oh.
you see his one bag changed into 9,000 bags. Now here you will see that from a boy collecting plastic in a bag, he became a young man collecting students in schools.
Yes.
Then when he went to Kolhapur and started studying his engineering,
Huh.
environment engineering, his name is Onkar Gan.
Hmm.
He collected the city and the schools in it because he went to the commissioner and made sure that I had a bridge with the commissioner. And so when we went there, 400 principals were there in the hall. So you
Wonderful.
see a boy is collecting plastic in a bag, then he's collecting children in schools, then he goes to a city, and during his engineering studies, 4 years, he collected the schools inside the city.
Hmm.
So he got that Ashoka Young International Change Makers, what do we call it, fellowship.
Hmm.
And now he's an alumni of that. And there are, I think, 35,000 such young people like Onkar from all over the world who are alumni.
Hmm.
So now you can imagine how he will communicate with those. So from gathering plastic to communicating with young leaders of his stature in all the countries. This doesn't, uh, pause his story. He's our first young trustee at the age of 22. So when we retire, he's going to carry on. I came into this subject when I was 50. So
Yeah.
I'm 64. Last 14 years I'm doing this.
Hmm.
He's come in at the age of 20. Actually, when he was in 8th standard, but he came as an organizational person at the age of 20 with us. So you see, young people are coming in into this because they don't want to think about only the land nation that they belong to. That is,
Yes.
if you ask what is your nation, they say ocean. So
Wonderful.
we have a two nation theory which we are taking to the planet, announcing it for the first time online on our
Channel.
revolving perspectives.
Yes.
We ask the people to keep on looking at the land and the water, land and the water. You have a land nation, fine, be proud of that nation. And you have a common Neel Desh, we say blue nation, and that is the ocean.
Ocean.
And the ocean started with life. There were no citizens called human beings on the planet.
Hmm.
So the first single-celled creatures were the citizens of that blue nation. So when we speak to the children, we say the river is a nation and the fish are the citizens, and we are invading that nation. So all over the world, when we say we the people, very proud, we are very proud of our democracies. We the people, that's a very short-sighted 3 words. We have to say we the people of all species. You know, the fish, when we show them as dead fish because they ate plastic, we say this citizen is dead because of us.
Beautiful
So
concept.
we don't have only human citizens on my planet.
Hmm.
And all the children of the planet by 2040, we will make sure of that, we and other people like us all over the world, that
Hmm.
they have a concept of two nations. One is the nation of your birth, which may be Ukraine or Russia. You see, they are at war. Or it may be Palestine and Israel. Oh, they are also at war. It might be India and Pakistan or China and Taiwan at war. So you see, the 8,000 years of experience tells us that when we have a land identity, we create a border and we live scared of each other. And when we say that we also have a blue nation, but all the 1 billion children in the world have only one blue nation, it's the same nation.
Same
It's the
nation.
ocean. So we have a questionnaire. What is your nation? They answer ocean. And the second one is, what is your nation of birth? Then it's fine to go to the secondary land identity. So we want to shift the primary identity of human beings to the planet. But when we say planet, they see a divided land. So this is an interim measure. As an interim measure, we are going to teach them Sagarmitra.
Wonderful. That's
At least
wonderful.
let them balance the land and water nationhood.
Yes. You have shown such a beautiful perspective. I'm sure viewers are just loving listening this. Even I have learned something new right now. And you have taught this generation such a beautiful and broad concept. That's amazing, Vinodji.
I just want to speak one last part from my side, unless
Sure.
you have more questions. Uh, there is a movement going on in this part of the planet. My planet is mine. India is a part of it. So there is a movement called Swachh Bharat. I'm sure all my other countries also have similar movements. My clean country.
Yeah.
Here we use the spectacles of Gandhiji on that. And what is written there is Swachha and Bharat. So we ask the children to learn that Swachha and Ahimsa. Bharat stands for non-violence. So our whole program is not really a cleanliness program, it is a non-violence program.
Yes.
If the children in a school in the year bring only 2 to 3 pieces and collect 10 kilograms, that would have polluted 1 square kilometer of ocean.
Yeah.
So they are here and now our leaders, these children. They're collecting 10 tons already every month, which is very small if you compare with the total waste which the adults create. Okay. But these children are going to populate the earth, we won't be there. So from them will come the presidents and prime ministers and environment ministers and everybody, the lawyers and everybody. So we want to make a saturation program to catch that 1 billion. Okay. It's a global peace program trying to get across to all of humanity that in just 2 words, love the ocean. We open up to 70% of our surface. The ocean gives us 70% oxygen. Ocean has 70% of the floating forest. And we are covering it with plastic, and so the sunlight doesn't get through. There is no calculation of how many phytoplankton and greenery is dying in the ocean. So we have to look after 2 forests now, the terrestrial forest and the aquatic forest. You see, this is expanding the domain of personal responsibility for the children. And so we say, think globally, act personally, not locally. That's a little outdated now. Think globally, act personally. Whether anyone else does it or not, I have to do it.
Yes.
Alone, if necessary, alone.
Yes.
So this is a program which awakens a responsible global citizen. We say the Homo sapien changes to the Cosmos sapien, or the Mano changes to the Vishwamano.
Yeah.
And the children who score in this well in 5 years, we observe them, no? So those who really do well, we give them a 2-year ethical leadership course, which is at our ashram, which you spoke of. There's an ethical leadership course, which teaches 7 qualities of leadership. Without saying anything about it, if anyone on my planet thinks about saving the ocean and picks up a piece of plastic and gives it to a recycler, there are 7 leadership qualities in that action. We have a 2-year course which teaches that.
Wonderful leadership.
Which embeds it. Yeah. So that rounds off the work. There is one thing I want to add about India again.
Sure.
So I will have to study the national anthems of all my other nations also. So the Indian national anthem has 4 lines speaking about India. Most people, almost everybody I meet don't know about the 4th line properly. They don't even know the proper pronunciation. Let me go through that very quickly. There are 3 parts in the national anthem. The first part is, Hail India, and the last part is about hailing India or victory to India. The middle part is the agricultural land is spoken of. Punjab, Sindh, Gujarat, Maratha, Dravida, Utkala, Banga. This is the agricultural land. Vindhya Himachal is the mountains which catch the nectar of the rains which come from the oceans. So initially that is not mentioned. Vindhya Himachal is the mountains which are the catchment area for the rain. So first is the agricultural land, then the water we need falls on our mountains. Vindhya Himachal, Yamuna, Ganga. So the rivers carry this for irrigation. And the last line, most people don't know the exact words. Vindhya Himachala Yamuna Ganga Uchchala Jaladhi Taranga. Uchchala Jaladhi Taranga. Jaladhi means ocean.
Yes.
How many people know? They sing this national anthem every day for years together, 75 years. The Indian national anthem says that the turbulent waves of the ocean are the foundation of life in my country. Uchchala Jaladhi Taranga. My country floats on the ocean. If you can see the land floating on the ocean, but my country floats in economics and agriculture and productivity only because the 100% of the rains come from the ocean. So we already have this national anthem embedded in the entire Indian population. All we have to do is speak about this, which I'm trying to do through this medium. Thank you for providing this ready-made medium here.
Audience, pleasure also to listen to you. Shortly, I would request you to give one advice you would like to give to individuals or community interested in starting their own plastic waste collection program.
I think in this, if our email is provided and phone number, you can contact us. We have a helpline on Tuesday on Zoom. 8:30 to 9:30, you can just come in. Basically, if you send us an email or a WhatsApp saying you want to be in that helpline, there you will get to know about the detailed steps through which you can do it. But that is the first step. Get in touch with us. Second step is you collect about at least 5 decision makers in your city or region, and we can have 1.5 hour Zoom in which we will show you the PowerPoint which we show to the children.
Right.
The same PowerPoint is shown to any minister or any administrative officer. Whoever is there, the same PowerPoint is enough.
Okay.
Because most people still don't know that 70% of the forests are in the oceans.
Yeah.
So you have to tell even the adults that.
That's
and
great.
That our plastic is destroying. The plastic is an axe which destroys the ocean greenery. So we'll have to take care of not only the 30% trees which are on the ground, but the 70% which are in our primary blue nation.
Yeah.
They are in our nation, which is the ocean.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So the methodology we have already said. If you cannot get in touch with us, please just collect like this. Now, if you can't get in touch with us, from today you can start something. Collect the dry plastic inside your house. For God's sake, don't collect outside. You do an achievable thing and then you will feel fulfilled first. That's the first step. So do the achievable thing. Collect only the dry plastic. I'm not talking about the wet plastic. Only the dry plastic in a bag for a month. If you put wet plastic, this is going to stink in your house. So there's an automatic control. Collect the dry plastic for a month. If you know a recycler, give it, or whoever is the collecting agency, make sure you tie a knot over here and you give this to the collecting agency. What happens then? When that goes on the trucks, there are poor people there who are also rag pickers. So if you have 600 pieces in this, imagine that fellow bending down 600 times to pick that up. He gets a ready-made bag full of clean plastic. So the poor guy who gets his hand on this, he can just sell it where he knows. You see, wherever there are rag pickers, this method will work.
I'm going to definitely start this from today itself.
It can start immediately. There is no capacity
Yes.
building. There is no money needed. There is no organization needed. No Sagarmitra needed.
It's just an awareness and effort.
Concept. Yeah,
I'm going to start it for sure.
It's a brush your teeth concept.
Absolutely.
Pick your dry plastic at least.
You have to just make it a habit, a part of your day.
Let me add a thing. Some people try to be over enthusiastic before they collect their own dry plastic for 1 year, which would prove their consistency to themselves. They try to say, what about the wet plastic? Cool down, man. First you do the kindergarten, then we'll go to the first standard. The kindergarten is, can you collect the dry plastic consistently for 1 year, whether Sagarmitra is there or not? And can you just hand it over to whoever collects your garbage? Please do it. Remember, this 8 billion people can change your overnight. If they decide to do one thing which Gandhiji said and which is flashed all over the world, be the change you want to see.
Yes.
Prevent a few pieces of plastic from going into the soil and water and from being burnt outside. Okay.
Right. So let's be the change we want to see in the world. Thank you so much, Vinodji, for your esteemed presence and the insight you have shared with us on plastic management. Your passion and for sustainability and your experience in this field make you an ideal person to learn from. We will soon approach you to contribute from our side towards the noble cause you are working on. Thank you so much. We believe your insight and wisdom has provided valuable knowledge to our audience. I would like audience to know that we are building up a network of nature-loving people who want to contribute to save our planet. So interested people, please show your interest by dropping a comment in below comment section and we will connect with you shortly.
I need just 30 seconds more.
Sure.
Every religion on my planet has primary prayer. We are students of prayers and we have forgotten short prayer. Every single prayer on my planet written by every religion, the primary prayer of the religion, speaks about the 7 leadership qualities. So please reconnect with prayer in a studious way. One small, the prayers speak about the quality of the head, the quality of the heart, and the quality of the hands. So our Sagarmitra is a head, heart, hands expansion program. The head expands when thinking up to the ocean. The heart falls in love with the ocean. That's an expansion of the heart. And the hands serve the ocean. That's expanding beyond just the country and the religion. So please reconnect with prayer. Speaking about the head, heart, and hands, there is a internationally acknowledged prayer which is there. Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. So surrender to the flow of the mind so that it expands. Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami. flow into the heartfelt responsibility of being responsible for the universe, and if not that, at least the ocean. So Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, Dhammam Sharanam comes from the heart, and Sangam Sharanam is collective action, hands.
Okay.
Sangam Sharanam Gacchami is the shortest prayer which speaks about head, heart, hands. Please check the primary Islamic prayer, the primary Indian prayers, the primary Sikh prayer, the primary Christian prayer. It's the identical prayer with the same meaning and speaks about head, heart, and hands in the same sequence. It's the same prayer. We haven't even looked at each other's prayers properly. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you.
See you all in the next episode at Revolving Perspectives with more new perspective. Thank you, everyone.